So we're going to continue on that vein, and I'm going to let you know, for those of you who do not know, Jessica Care Moore is about to come to the stage. Yes, yes. Now, some of you all may know some of her credits. I'm sure she will expound on them when she comes out. But I love the way that she has played on words with some of her businesses that she's created. So we should know that Jessica Care Moore is CEO of Moore Black Press. Get it? Founder of the literacy-driven Just Care More Foundation. And she is the executive director of the Black Women Rock. And yes, yes. Now, we know her as an international poet, a playwright, a performance artist, a producer, an author, and she does have a book tonight for sale, her 5th one, along with our founder, Hakeem Mahabouti. All righty, so don't forget that. Yes, they're still writing and publishing. So, I need not say any more. Please put your hands together for Jessica Care Moore.
Thank you. What up, dog? How y'all doing? Hey, family. Hey, Chicago. Mic check, check, check. Sound man was helping me. Hey, Malcolm. Is Malcolm? Who was reading? Oh, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, give it up to Malcolm and the sister. Y'all give it to everybody else on stage before me. I got a lot of stuff. I'm used to like a news stand. I'm going to work it out, though. I'm going to put my water here. I'm going to do what I got to do. The heel's going to last 2 poems, and it's going to be a wrap. Can y'all do me a favor? Can y'all come closer? I don't know why y'all back there. I'm just, I mean, the ancestors can sit way in the back, and then the people who really here can just sit a little closer in the front. I mean, if you're over 65, you should just do what you want. Don't listen to me. But if you of sound body and don't mind moving it right now, you could get a little, more intimate since I can so my work can reach you even closer. Hey, Matthew, yes. Excuse me? Not yet. I'll keep you posted. Y'all already killed. Y'all already took over one town. We'll see. Detroit is a little different. Detroit and Nigeria do have a lot of things in common, though. It's kind of similar. The brothers are similarly aggressive. We were talking about that backstage. I need to thank my Baba Hakeem Mahabouti. Thank you so much, Baba Hakeem, not just for tonight. If you guys, I'm sure you're here in Chicago, he's a treasure, right? A national treasure, but certainly a treasure here in this city, and has been a very important person in my life since I was a very young baby poet. You read these poems in front of your elders, and you just hope that maybe they say, okay, you done good, or give you a little encouragement. But Hakeem has been in my corner for all these years, through all my marriages, through all my books, all those things, like really keeping me encouraged. And yeah, he gave like advice to every man that wanted to marry me. I think he put them all to the side. I was like, oh, there you go. He's on the side with Baba Hakeem. May not make it back. So I consider him one of my fathers, and like my Baba Abiodun and my Baba Umar bin Hassan, the last poets, and my Baba Amiri Baraka, and my mama, who you'll see tomorrow if you don't have any sense, my mama Sonia Sanchez, who will be with you tomorrow in Chicago. And I wish I could stay, but I have a reading to do in Detroit, and a beautiful son to get home to. So I'm going to read my poems, and I have a lot that I want to say and to you, and I'm gonna start with God Is Not an American. And Hakeem wrote the foreword to my 3rd book, and he actually wrote this foreword. Like, he called me for several weeks reading parts of my book back to me, and it just meant a lot, for him to write it and to give me the encouragement to keep going. It's not easy to be a a poet for a living. It is not easy. It is not an easy life. And who am I, at my young age to be talking about it? Like, I've been doing it a long time, but it's been about 25 years for me now. And so I can only pray that when in my 70s, in my 80s, that I'll still be here reading poems and trying to encourage our people to keep going. And just when you think you have nothing to write about, we have a terrorist in the White House. And so now there's all these poems to write and this work to do. And my son is 11 years old, my son King, and he only knows Barack Obama as his president. And I'll never forget, there's a book that Third World Press is putting out called Not My President. If it's not out now, I'm in there. And my essay is called Mothering in a Time of War. And it's truly what I feel like, and it's nothing different than other people were going through in the 60s, it's just, this is our monster, right? And this is my son's monster because he's 11, and when Barack Obama was in office, he thought the American flag was Obama. He would see the flag and say, Obama, and I used to be like, for real? That's an interesting perspective. And then when Trump won, King was 10, and he was traumatized. And he said, because he knew he's a smart child, he's paying attention to the world. I'm his mama, he can't help himself. And he said, Mommy, that's what this country, that's what they think of us? That's what kind of person, this is what this country is really about? And he, to watch his innocence get lost, his idealism go away at 10. And I said, well, this is your job, is to change the world so none of this ever happens again. So here's your work, 10-year-old, This is your job. It's not Mommy's, it's yours. You're inheriting this world, so you have to fix it. And my son will. I don't know if the millennials gonna do it. And they seem all right. They're an interesting crew, I date them now and again. So, they're dateable. All right, so I'm gonna do some poems. I know, I'm just talking. I'm a Scorpio, it's my birthday month, I'm feeling froggy. All right, so I need a music stand. The old people need music stands because we read poems. So, note to self. All right. This is a petition for, what up? So sweet. Oh, no, I got you. I got it. I did have Omari Hardwick be my mic stand once, though. That was kind of fresh. Petition for a national holiday to honor the achievements of American women, and who in the hell else deserves a day off more than us? And I wrote this when I was pregnant in Atlanta, married to somebody, I don't know which one. And if I was pregnant, it was Kenyatta. So I was married, and I was going to the post office, and the post office was closed, and I was pissed off, because I was like, what Monday is this that I'm supposed to be sitting at home looking at some football or barbecuing something or whatever? And it's because America, they give you the holidays to celebrate. And so I was like, if they had a holiday that celebrated a woman in history, maybe I would know that I'm supposed to go sit down somewhere and take a vacation and take care of myself. And so that's when people weren't saying self-care every 5 minutes, So this is called Petition, and it's about the holiday that doesn't exist. So I'm going to keep doing it till it shows up. This poem is a petition. Please sign and move along. Columbus got one and Macy's has a white sale. Washington and all the U.S. presidents, but not his African mistress, not his black daughters. There's that one day to give thanks for the genocide of Native Americans and eat turkey. Even Jesus can't have his own day. He has to share with some imaginary fat man in a red suit who only visits the rich annually. Finally, with much resistance, they let us have a day for Martin, but even Martin Luther King has some help. If anybody deserves a day off, it's a black woman. I'm not talking about a day that'll shout us out a token day recognition like Secretary's Day, something cute to add to the calendar. When I wake up on this morning, on this day, I want some shit to shut down. I don't want the mail to run. I want all the railroads to have a moment of silence in honor of Harriet Tubman. I want Sojourner Truth's name to be written in Swahili summer clouds. I want the original Statue of Liberty returned back to her original African self. I want stone monuments for every rape, every daughter separated and sold, for every child cover her mother's womb, for every scar, the ones we can see, the ones we push down inside our stomachs, braid into our hair, or spit down the toilet. I want a war memorial built off the Potomac Potomac River to represent the bloodshed of the African Holocaust, for women who jumped off sides of ships, smothered their babies to save them from a life of inhumanity. I want Cynthia McKinney Parkway in Georgia to be more than a green and white sign. I want to make that strip a highway a better circle than 285. This one is for Zora, Coretta, Angela, Mary, Mama Stone, Kathleen, Rosa, Vivian, Irene, Virginia, Mama Love Lady, and every child born girl today. I want Sophia, the black goddess writer who really wrote The Matrix, to be given more than money. I want to get all those same access keys to all those studio doors the Wachowski wolves ran through with ease with her story in their teeth and her womb in their pocket. A black woman's life is a cheat sheet for humanity. I want Octavia Butler to get a residual check on this day for every sci-fi movie ever made in the new millennium. I want my female classmates shot in the streets of Detroit, Chicago, Brooklyn to be memorialized and talked about like the Columbine students. For every black woman raising children alone. Any woman for that matter. Stepmoms, earth moms, midwives, housewives, any woman who gave her 9 to 5 and the ones who will never stop till they die or retire. I want the airlines to give them vouchers so every black woman can touch the ocean on this day, can see a part of the world, something they dreamt of, helped create but can't afford to enjoy. For every tongue we had to bite, for every heartbreak, for the dozen times we were called inches, hoes, ugly, stupid, worthless, for every jaw broke, every wrist cut, every pill swallow, every collect call we said yes to, every bullet we swallow in the name of love on this day. This country will reflect on the sacrifices of Africa's daughters who by force have birthed your sons. This is just the beginning of my demands. This poem is a petition for a national holiday to acknowledge African American women for the systematic use of our backs. Tell me, will you sign up? All right, Kennedy King. Yeah. Detroit. So this is a love poem. And like my sister said earlier, it's also difficult when you're a black woman that reads books to find a good date. And I said, brother ain't got a bookshelf. It's a problem. It's a real big problem. I'd be like, where your bookshelf at, brother? I see your car. Where your bookshelf? What you reading? I don't really read, sis. It's interesting. Okay. So this is called You Want Poems. And I'm honored at the Smithsonian Museum of African American History. This poem is featured on the 4th floor in full video. After President Obama does the mic drop, if you haven't gone yet, the video is there. And I'm there doing this poem. And you've seen it? Yeah, it's an honor, right? And so to watch my son got to see my son get to look at me and doing that poem in D.C. was everything. And so, I'll tell you my Smithsonian story afterwards when we're down on the microphone. But, because I did some, anyway. I'm honored to be in it. And so, it's called You Want Poems. And it's about love and people asking you for poems. Like, that's just something easy to give. When you are a woman, when you are brown, when you are brave, when you walk over glass like water, when you know your eyes are borrowed like time, when you peel off your skin for the very first time. Fear is never in style in the Mecca of the blue. Fear never lives in the gut of the new. You want poems, and I want to build my home. You want poems, and I just want love in my hands. You want poems, and I'm not interested in fans. You love me inside my magic, and I just want you to see you already had it. It is a telling when someone asks. It's the way he holds the glass, licks the surface, examines without touching. It's the way our energy takes over rooms. It is a subtle conversation. It is the freedom of emancipated language. It is words scribbled inside my skin. It's the curve of the lie, the beauty of the lies. Stories passed down through generations of pain and pride, ocean and tide. Water remembers, water returns. African mermaids blending with dark sand. It is the danger of the dance, the upright bass of the heart, the dice roll drum, the cymbal tease, the last laugh, the addiction to this moment. Where else do I put it? Don't know where to put it. Place it, bury it deep in my chest, back of my throat. Where should I hide it on this stage? Should I give it to you? Here is my honesty, My work undressed, legs stretched across piano, traded like cattle, raped like animal, left for dead, sucked dry for inspiration, in love with the idea of living long enough to simply write about it, push it out my body and watch my son slowly grow into it. You said you wanted a poem. Now what you gonna do with it? Huh? Phyllis, Billy, Nina, Abby, Etta, Whitney, how much time you got? How much time you got? I'm a body of clocks. I'm a master of mics. I'm a metaphor for survival. I'm the gold they use to build their churches. A beautiful idea to flirt with, but who should I marry? The moonlight, the sunrise, a white dove, this music, a prayer. How many babies we gonna make inside a song? Which revolution, which nation shall we rule? The island of the spirit world, the beauty of the believers, the carpenters, the men who build the dream and place you on the front line of their planet. One day, the stars will line up between voice and ink and voice, between reality and choice. It is the danger of the dance, the upright bass of the heart, the dice throw drum, the cymbal tease, the last laugh, the addiction to this moment. So that's my fourth book, Sunlight Through Bullet Holes, and I'm real proud of this piece. And so I say this because why Baba Haki is so important for me is that in 1997, I started More Black Press Publishing in my little apartment in Brooklyn. And I started publishing not just myself, but the poets of New York City. Saul Williams was my first poet. I put his book out, The Seventh Octave, in 1998. Went on to publish Sharice Simmons' Fast Cities and Objects That Burn. I did Etan Thomas, who used to be with the Washington Wizards, his book, More Than an Athlete. I published Raz Baraka, who is our mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Black Girls Learn Love Hard, who is Amiri Baraka's son. And it was his first collection of poetry. I published my sister Asha Mandeli. So listen, this little poet ain't just about herself. The reason why I know, the reason why I have a music stand, and it's important that I make sure I make people call me a poet. Because as a black woman, when you're a poet, that means you're not just a spoken word artist, because I'm not just a spoken word artist. I'm not, listen, I had to tell the Smithsonian who I was. I'm just gonna keep it very gully. And I was like, listen, if this was a white institution, I'll just be cussing y'all out. But because y'all are my people, I'm just gonna educate you. And I'm gonna need you to catch up. Because I come from something. And spoken word is cool. I mean, I got a rock band. You know, I do rock and roll. That song, You Want Poems, Roy Ayers is playing on it on my album. Jose James is singing on it. I mean, I make music. But I'm a poet. And I can have teachers. So just because we're younger doesn't mean we're not poets. And because poets are scholars. When I started performing at these white institutions all over the country, when I was just in my early 20s, after winning the Apollo and performing all over the country, right, and then outside the country, when I realized spoken word artist was not in any of my bios. So I would come to places like Oberlin College or Wilberforce or whatever. I've been to Harvard, I've done Yale, I've done Cornell, I've been Northwestern, I've done all the schools, right? Yale, whatever. I was like, why are y'all calling me a spoken word artist when my bio says I'm a poet? And it dawned on me that the white English departments didn't respect black writers, right? And they definitely didn't respect the black poets that I came from, which were black arts movement writers and poets, because I was a black writer that cared about my community. So that meant my writing wasn't as good as academic writers who are boring, most of the time, whose work I'd rather just read. I mean, it doesn't make me less than a poet because I'm okay on the mic. It doesn't make me less academic. It doesn't mean I'm not an educator. It doesn't mean I'm not an intellectual. It doesn't mean I'm not a scholar. So I made them call me a poet. And I continue to make them have to teach us sometimes to call me a poet because that's what I am. But you're crazy like something small like that label, how you have to fight just for that word. But if I was a white girl, let me tell you, they'll find poet a lot for a white girl that's doing poetry on the Apollo or wherever I feel like doing it. Is it working? No?
You might have to work it manually.
It's okay. We good. Like I said, I'm good. This is called Damn Right, since I'm speaking of my elders. Y'all know Amiri Baraka? Can y'all say his name? Let's call his name Amiri Baraka. Amiri Baraka was very, very dear to me. I read this poem for the first time on January 9th, 2014 at his funeral, by request of his son Raz and the family, they asked some of the new generation to write a poem. And so I wrote this. Hey, Baba Haki. I wrote this for him. I have all these beautiful pictures of him. They're up there. Just think about him. Y'all close your eyes. You can remember what he looked like. I'm always waiting for him still to walk in, just the way you walked in and sat down. I'm always waiting for Amiri to come and sit down, you know, so. The death of my father at 69 reminds me that every new year is a kiss from God. Or maybe it's simply a reminder that catching bullets in our teeth are not just for comic book superheroes, that literary giants also battle against the monstrous heads of Connie and Bill and survive unscathed. Attention critics from nowhere, you might be forced to wear your spine to work today. Amiri Baraka is busy with a higher calling. Somebody gotta ask, who gonna be the messengers? Where is Sun Ra? Where are the Holy Ghosts, our prophets? Wise, wise, wise do they call us hip-hop or say we slam when we are your students, Baraka, the invisible ones, the spooks that knock down doors. We don't juggle or hopscotch or jump through fire. We write. We know your bright sons have plans for this morning. We know your daughters are reimagining the night. Others began writing our suicide letters for us a long time ago. Ignoring the young cultural revolutionaries, you taught us how to breathe inside the polluted cesspool of segregated libraries. In the name of Baraka, we dance, we teach, we tear down, we build up. We believe in the face of the faithless. We move for those who be stiff. We fly for those who be still. We have no choice. He created this fire. Who gonna keep it lit? Scholar with sword, master teacher with miracle as metaphor. Who gonna call the ignorant to their faces on national television? Who gonna make love inside the 8-bar blues? Here comes our heart, here comes our city, here comes our people. You don't have to explain your chakras, just breathe. Here comes Baraka. Damn right, here comes injustice. Damn right, here comes protest. Here comes the hat tail, here comes the b-boy stance, here comes freedom, here comes peace. Who gonna spark the tea? Who gonna plant a poem and grow a life? Who gonna bring the scholars out their Ivy Tower prisons? Who gonna call a spade a king and out-joke the joker? Who gonna build the low-coup bombs with the world and our bookshelves dying a little more every day? Who gonna teach the children? Who gonna rebel? Who gonna go into our prisons? Where are our redemption songs now? We conjuring the whole truth of language from the scraps of a twisted alphabet. The chitlin backwash tastes of bitter, standardized testing and watered-down curriculum. We are the economy of pyramids, the who we bees and the what we did. We what they thought was hid. Damn right these words don't fit. Damn right the record skip when your life is a calling. When the ancestors have prepared you for the politics, how do you pick the red pill or the whitest fence when our cities are born with the bluest eyes, the darkest tails, and the most beautiful African people who don't know they is Africans? Who's cutting the grass to the killing fields? The dream dealers, the beat creators, the painters, the poets, the movement people, the truth tellers, the lovers, the liars, oh bless you, the liars. Whose blues they gonna steal now? Which names they gonna mispronounce? Leave out, set back, pretend not to know. He created this fire, who gonna keep it lit, huh? Who gonna print the books? Who gonna program the silences? Who gonna own the bookstores? Who gonna burn the house down? Who gonna tell them the revolution is in your mirror? He created this fire, who gonna keep it lit, huh? Baraka Black, Baraka Jazz, Baraka Blues, Baraka Dance till there were no shoes to drag. Where you from? Detroit, Newark, Harlem, Tuskegee, Berlin, Palestine. Who gonna fill the ark with art? Who gonna be the new? Who gonna recognize the old? Who gonna identify your soul? Spirits don't lie, but the papers do. Who gonna control who remembers you? Me, us, we, damn right your stories are that of a lion on the front line of American schizophrenic jungle. Prophet Footy and Warrior Inkblood, they cannot kill us all. With their black face and tragic, twisted imitations of life, we understand Amiri Baraka has outlived your double cross. His books held political prisoner by unestablished, unsophisticated establishments. We hold his words as armor, as a symbol of our fearlessness. We ask his children, his wife Amina, for permission to claim him. We smile his boyish grin, waiting for the low-coup bomb to drop. He teaches us there is jazz playing every time the sun rises. A jackal of words, a blues man with his hat always in place. Baraka, father of movement and possibility. Baraka, black and artistic, handing out pamphlets full of rebellion and resistance. We know your life work is simply an answer to a question. Why God? Why ancestors? Why Malcolm? Why Langston? Why Jane? Why Lucille? Why Haki? Why Eskil? Why Gil? Why Sonia? Why Les Poets? Why Asha? Why Tony? Why Saul? Why Thomas? Why Mike? Why Kevin? Why Akira? Why Ursula? Why Lamar? Why Willie? Why Carl? Why Major? Why Lisa? Why ancestors? Why brilliant? Why organizer? Why father?
father, why uncle, why scholars, why essayists, why teachers, why legacy, why black genius, why Baraka, why God, why in the hell did you have to make me a poet? And God replied, Leroy, somebody had to show him how to do it. No? Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. I got a couple more poems. Y'all good? All right. Still got my shoes on. I'm so proud of myself. So this is a poem I want to read, and I just got to say, like, to Baba Haki, which I was saying earlier about how he's been such a support system and necessary model for me, and a lot of poets, not just me, but I like to claim him like he mine. Everybody does that. Like, Sonia's my Sonia. You know, everybody got their relationships with the elders, and we're just so grateful that you're here. So I remember, like, back in the day when I started first reading poetry, a lot of women were getting accused of, like, not liking men for some reason. Like, if you're a strong black woman, somehow you don't like brothers or whatever. And I don't know. So if you speak about the reality of relationships or you say anything negative about a man, that means you don't like him. So I love brothers, right? And I got 5 older brothers. I'm comfortable. Most my closest male friends, my closest friends in my life are men. And when I tell young girls all the time, and you need to find a way to make friends with men that you don't sleep with, it's really important, you know, to like establish bonds with men and have lifelong friendships with brothers. I don't kiss them. We don't hold hands. They're my brothers, you know. Got 5 biological brothers, and I had a daddy until I was 22, until he passed away. And so I wrote this piece, and right before I read this piece, maybe, I don't know, twice in my life, Susan Taylor, who's very dear to me and has also supported my voice. When they asked for a poet, Susan Taylor from Essence Magazine. Y'all know Susan Taylor is.
Yes.
National Cares Mentoring. She can absolutely call anybody in the world, and she always calls me. And I appreciate her so much because she calls my name, and I love her for that. And she asked me to write a piece to honor black men at her Cares Mentoring Gala tribute. And so this is what I wrote, and it's called Just to Watch You Walk. And my sister Pilar was on the video, and we're gonna try to do it. We got it. We got it. And yeah, so it's always, you know, from my daddy, but I have to give it to my Baba Haki. I could simply start with your walk. The 100 miles you traveled to find us after emancipation. Or the way you confidently stride into a room and coolly take it over when you decide to smile. Reminding us that in your 90s, that radical voices and visionaries are still necessary for our survival, Harry Belafonte. Our hearts need more space for rebellion men like you. We love your grace in a world that has attempted to kill your spirit and turn your women against you. We love your body safely in our arms. We a fortress of feminine armor for the blows, those countless black dresses we never truly fit our grief into correctly, bearing our sons, our boys, our fathers. Yes, some of us have fathers who showed us how to be mothers and wives to indigo children with twilight eyes and colorful dreams. We are your memory when the world forgets to call your name. Some of you are warriors, H. Rap Brown, Bobby Seale, Nat Turner, Geronimo Pratt, Mumia Abu Jamal. Others gave their lives, Martin Luther King Jr., Fred Hampton, institution builders, business owners, historians, philosophers, men of peace, men of prosperity, Alain Locke, Du Bois, Schomburg. I could begin with your bloodline, Crispus Attucks, shed for your country's revolution with thousands of black soldiers who fought for America's independence. Their names, invisible threads sewn into a fabric of white stars and red stripes. We know your value is beyond measure. Your black bodies, once taxable, created Wall Street. Your spine, the starting line of an economic empire built on free labor, just to watch you walk instead of riding the bus, organizing freedom rides and inspiring self-determination. We, millions of sisters, hijab cover, prayer beads in our palms, holding you up with Betty on the floor of the Audubon Ballroom, shining prints that bullet could never kill your smile or your message. El Haj, Malik El Shabazz, we still strapped with resistance. Some of us know young Malcolms, studied Teray and Nkrumah, Farrakhan, Biko, Adam Clayton Powell Jr., and Garvey, Thurgood Marshall, Jesse Jackson, Huey P. Newton, Sharpton, Dyson, and our revolutionary Rasta brother, Bob Marley. We marvel at the healing miracle and comic genius of our brother Dick Gregory, Richard Pryor, Red Fox. Your curses, epic poetry on vinyl never stop. We witness your glory and depth on film, Denzel. We recognize the vision of Charles King, the rich presence of Cheeto, the flawlessness of Fishburne, the undeniable cool of Portier, the transformation of Will Smith into Boo My Yay. Your thunderous bass bellowing through our theaters. You anointed us with unlimited joy, alive inside your voice, beloved Ozzie Davis. Always the mayor and a Spike Lee joint. Gift to our Ruby, you personified black love, or perhaps that was you, Paul Robeson. Here we all stand. Here you all stand, the most feared and the fearless. It could be the poetic grace of your quick left hook when the politics and the pretty was too much for their ropes and lynch mobs. Muhammad Ali, born from clay. We the black fist of Joe Louis in the style of Sugar Ray. We the swing and Satchel Paige's bat and Jackie Robinson just stole second. Wait a second, a tiger just mastered the game of golf. Lions on the court, Kareem, Jordan, Isaiah, Bernard, BK King, Iverson, Kobe, LeBron, and Magic. You put your knee down for us on the field, so we stand up for Colin's number 7. You are Romare Bearden's rich collage imagination, the brilliant shadows of Aaron Douglas in the form of Robert Taylor, the first black MIT graduate, the tenacity of the scientific genius of physicist Walter Massey, the courage of Brian Stevenson, fearlessly confronting the history of lynching. Is that the win? Or the beauty of our brown, chiseled winged bodies flying through the air, elevating legs of possibility high above the insurmountable obstacles to tell our stories of compassion. We are the future of Bill T. Jones and the children of Alvin Ailey. Our African rhythms dancing under the shoes of the Nicholas brothers, Gregory Hines, and the whirlwind flavor of Savion. We are the descendants of anonymous men like Sam, who helped Bill solve the issue of removing seeds from cotton, but wasn't allowed to patent the cotton gin. Urban farming is not something you need to teach to black people. We are clear on how to grow a tomato. Still, only a black man could invent a way to turn peanuts into 300 more products: soap, dyes, wood stain, chili sauce, iron tonic, and a milk substitute. We are American innovators. George Washington Carver, we salute you. Coltrane and Cole, Miles and Louis, Hendrix and Bootsy, Ramsey Lewis and Art Blakey, Cab Calloway, Billy Eckstein, you shine while Smokey wipes away our tears, while Marvin sang the word woman like the Holy Ghost on command, like prayers pushing out the dangerous miles of those new horns, the survival signs of Kebby, Carter, Jones, Gunn, Keys of Legend, Mark Carey, Deshaun, Glasper, our Detroit brothers, electronic music gods of techno in the hereafter, the drum licks of Kareem Riggins, the wonder of Stevie, the old school soul of Dilla. We love the Ogun walk in you, the John Henrik Clark fire in you. You are the brass audacity of a ship-shaped Smithsonian. Lonnie Bunch, we see you. Curator of black excellence. You, Amiri Baraka, Hakeem Adabuti, Woody King, August Wilson, Last Poets, Clinton Linton, Gil Scott Heron, Dudley, and all publishing holy books and those black theater of black poetics. We are actors and necessary activists. Danny Glover, Walter Mosley, telling our courageous stories of devils and blue dresses. You are a message in a bottle with low-coup investments. Your work ethic so epic it sings. Roger Guinevere Smith, Chandler and Frederick Douglass, the Panthers, and Rodney King. Your spirit moved the heart work of Charles Drew into a modern Brooklyn superhero like Dr. Rob Gore, creating kings against violence that help stop our children from being rushed through the emergency room doors. Black stars are everywhere, off the record. Kweli, Common, Yasin, T.I., Kendrick. Without you, we wouldn't have the traffic lights. Some of you just stopped traffic. From the grassroots activists to the fly William Malcolm suit and tie, that's my boy in Detroit. We design life and raw materials. The innovation of Willie Smith, Stephen Burrows, turning fabric and patterns into miracles. Fabulous, undefinable architects of cultural genius, Andre Leon Talley. Teachers, organizers, businessmen, fashion and media moguls, and even healthy yogis. Russell Simmons, Reggie Lewis, Robert Johnson, Wall Street's Jeremiah Hamilton, the current fire of Ray McGuire. From John Kyers to John Lewis, Baraka and Booker, Coleman, Dickens, and Kassim. Every black man alive today is an answer to an ancestor's dream, just to watch you walk into that White House. That's why we love you, 44. You are all my 10-year-old king knows of an American president. He was raised with the audacity of hope, and yes, he can, beaten inside his chest. President Barack Obama, we know you are not done yet. You are all protected by our collective intuition. We heard that train taking a breath before stopping at Fruitvale Station. We know the intentional sound of assassinations don't always wait for our powerful seeds to grow up into strong trees of men. In Cleveland, every woman's heart I know stopped beating for a few seconds it took for Tamir Rice to be dead. For Tamir Rice to be dead on a playground at 12. We push out God when our water breaks and watch evil attempt to break us at birth. Steal your breath away in the middle of the day. Eric Gardner, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, Oscar Grant. We are the hum-horn stories of Marcellus' blood on the fields of Ferguson, of Chicago, of Harlem, of Atlanta. You are all of our sons. Baldwin's fire next time. Princes and kings of soul, beautifully human, from the front line to the free throw, the pulpit to the prison industrial complex. We know we need you when there is nothing left. I could simply start with your walk. But our children are born running, and our hearts are making space for more men who will walk just like you. Thank you. Did we do it? I wasn't even watching. Y'all all right? And thank you. Thank y'all. In the interest of time, I'm just going to read like a couple more, and then we're supposed to do a talk of some sort or whatever, right? Okay, this is supposed to happen. So we want our bodies back. This is for Sandra Bland. If black women could be cut down, no, removed gently from American terrorism, who would break our fall? Which direction would we travel to feel safe? Wild is the wind. If we could turn in this skin, these sharpened bones, this brain full of power and history, who would we resemble? Invisible doesn't come in black. How many nervous breakdowns? How many funeral black dresses? How many fibroids? How many nooses? How many of our bodies must be raped, cut into pieces, burned inside garbage bags, buried? How many of us blossom a beautiful tree of life and pray their pride isn't cut down the middle, reduced to trunks, or a close friend doesn't die climbing their limbs, attempting to simply grow outside the gritty soil they were planted? I put a spell on you. Holly Hobby ovens, Girl Scout cookies and Barbie dolls. Don't prepare our revolutionary daughters born with capes and wings to have a pig's knee pushed into their backs. Girls raised by wolves, taught to disappear, to be quiet, to not talk about it. How much black breath is allowed space in the state of Texas? A place that has sucked the life out of countless, miscounted, uncounted brown, poor women die here. I got life. Sandra Bland got the death penalty for a traffic stop. Her body was 28 years young. How to make sense of our bodies. Bodies burnt by cigarettes. Bodies smoked out of their own neighborhoods. Bodies with abandoned lungs and hearts. Bodies mistaken for women when they are still girls. How do we construct a survival guide, a poem for our daughters' bodies without throwing up our breakfast? How do our mothers' bodies not implode after telling our sons to comply, to not speak, to keep their heads down, to allow their bodies to be dragged by racist police? Jim Crow ain't never flown with this much wingspan. Eagles flying for safety now. For the reach is deep in southern and Midwest, shadows the east, lands in the west. Texas, you will always be Mexico in denial. Poet Ron Allen asked for it. Oh, y'all didn't, okay. Texas, you will always be Mexico in denial. Poet Ron Allen asked for his body back in 1996, and we are still waiting. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them returned to mothers without blood, without brains exposed, without humiliation, without bruises, without glass, without fire. We want our bodies back. We want our cities back. We want our culture back. We want our land back. We want our streets back. We want our freedom. We want our justice. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We want them wrapped in white silk. We want them paraded around the White House. We want these flags you stand up for at baseball games at half mast. We want national holidays to honor our bodies, our knees, our prayers, our ears, our genitals, our eyes, our fingers, our feet. We want 21 gun salutes when we enter a damn room. We want our bodies back. We want them anointed in oils. We want them worn around your neck. We want them remembered. We want them worshipped on Sunday. We want our magic you try to bottle. We want our essence you attempt to steal. We want our elegance, our sex, our walk, our cool. We want our recipes, our intelligence, our science, our stars, our history. I want my Moroccan nose. I want my holy water breasts. I want my Maasai legs, my alien arms, my Ivory Coast mouth. I want our breath back. I want our time back. I want your foot off our girls' backs. I want all your badges back. I want you to evaporate into dust like swatted moths. Don't cut me down from the noose. Don't cut me down for noose. Let my legs dangle for the devil. What a spectacular magic show. Why you turn the cameras off? Why you turn the cameras off? This is a simple ballet. You got front row. This is your venue. This cell, this hole is no one's home, is no place for a woman to die. You probably never heard of Judith Jameson, Catherine Dunham. Oh, we know how to get our legs in the air. We know how to elevate and use our bodies to tell a story of Middle Passage, of survival, of lynchings. You have always loved our bodies under your control. Don't you touch me. Don't you take me down, murderers. Don't you touch my body. Don't touch my music. Don't touch my patience. Don't touch my car door. Don't come near my window. Don't talk to me in that tone. This body of work got work to do. I'm resurrecting my body in new forms daily. Watch for me in your deepest sleep. Black is the color of my true love's hair. Listen for my songs. Watch for my walk. Listen for my voice, my black girl attitude. Watch my body resist your death traps. Watch me rise. Watch my rebirth. Watch us rise up from this new Jim Crow, from these new unspoken apartheid laws. We want our bodies back. We want our bodies back. We will take them, protect them, raise them, remember them, remind you, remember you, Sandra Bland. We will never forget your brown body, your mind, your pride, your spirit, your love, your vow to do God's work. We want your drive from Illinois to Waller County back. We want all our daughters back, and we want them back now. I have no idea what time it is. Okay. Can I do one more? Okay. Well, anyway, it's called DHS office trip number 7. And, oh, listen. This is for my mothers in the audience, okay? Because, right, hello. We do what we have to for our children. And the DHS office is an evil place, and it's set up to dehumanize women. And I learned this by experience. And I didn't grow up on welfare. My daddy was a construction worker. He owned Tom's Trucking his whole life. I never saw my daddy work for a white man a day in his life, and that's why it's just not what I do. He's a very independent spirit. He came from Alabama, up south like everybody else, but didn't go work at the big 3 like most people did. He started his own construction company and then hired people to work for him. So my daddy was a boss, which is why I'm a boss. And my mother worked for Michigan Bell and raised 2 beautiful brown children on the west side of Detroit and was dedicated to motherhood and has a work ethic that was out of this world. I had to make her best friend had to die. It was my godmother, my black godmother, in order for her to stop working. So she didn't know all she knows is work. So I come from working class people. But I never judged people or mothers who had to go get welfare, right? They're just it's just for food. And this country is so rich and ugly, right? And greedy. And it's ridiculous, you know. I don't even start with reparations and why we deserve the money or anything that they give out from the government. Because I don't want nothing from them. But children, right, should never be hungry in this country. We waste so much food. And so I left my husband when my son was 10 months old, and I came home to a place called Detroit where no poets made money. And I was like, I make money. I don't know what y'all do, but we have to figure this out. And I'd been living for 12 years in Brooklyn and Harlem and Atlanta and had a 3,600 square foot house in Atlanta. And I left all of that for my sanity because people care about houses. I wrote a poem in my 4th book called They Only Ask About the House because I left my husband with my baby. That's all everybody asked me about was my damn house. They're like, well, what about your house? I'm like, what about it? You mad because you can't go to my big crib no more? Like, what you mean, the house? And I was like, this is my house. This house is everything. Right? I don't need that extra, I don't need the California King. I'll be all right. I'll survive. I lost lots of paintings in that move. But I had to get out of there because I recognized early that it wasn't going to be a healthy environment for my son. So I had to go. And I've been going ever since. But I came home, and instead of, I lived with my mother for maybe 2 months, and I realized that I couldn't do that. And as girls, you can't do that. When you get grown, you got your own children. It's hard to go home to your mother. It's nice to have a mother to go home to, right? I did do that. And then I realized I couldn't do that for long, and I went and got an overpriced loft downtown. And one of my family members, who's my favorite brother, said to me, Jessica, because I came back, I didn't have no job. I was a poet. And he said, don't you think you're living outside your means? And I said, everybody here lives below their potential. So I'm going to go get something that's really high rent because it's going to motivate me to go get money so my son could live a certain way, because my son's name is King, and this is how I roll. And I did that for 6 months. I had my nervous breakdown in style. I have valet parking for my Honda Accord because I was not about to mess with snow. I'd been in Atlanta for 7 years, and I didn't want to be cold, and I didn't want to wipe the snow. Now I'm Detroiter again. I don't care about snow no more. But I was a little fragile when I came home in many ways. And so my girlfriend looked at me. I was about 119 pounds, which is not cute for me. I don't do skinny like that. And she was like, why don't you, what's up? You know, are you all right? And so the things I was nursing my son, which is the thing you're supposed to do, but because I was stressed out and moving and leaving my marriage and starting my life over and people telling me what I'm supposed to do with my life all of a sudden, I wasn't, all the nutrients for my body when you're nursing go to your baby, so there's nothing left for me. And my girl was like, the last thing you need to be thinking about is food. Go get a bridge card. And so my experience at the welfare office was one of the best experiences of my life. It was so humbling and important for me to walk into that welfare office just that few times I had to, so that I could write this poem for women and for mothers who have to walk into that welfare office for their children. And it's called DHS Office Trip Number 7. And I'm going to end my reading tonight with this one. The homeless man gives my son $1. I am hiding, hoping to not look like I'm doing well. Doing well doesn't go with the chairs in this office. I'm thankful and embarrassed. The same day I was booked for a show in Paris, asked to be in a film being shot in Harlem in the summer, and booked for a keynote at another college, my son's health insurance was canceled by the state. And the daycare said I owed him $3,000 and I have to pay it so my son can register for the new year. The daycare lady is asking me if I have a job again. I'm a famous poet and writer. I performed all over Europe, America, South Africa. I'm an Apollo legend. Remember me? I was on the cover of the Metro Times last month, the cover of African American Family, when my son began here in the summer. Our pictures are on the inside. My photos are in full color and 6 feet tall at the Museum of African American History. I am one of the women of a new tribe. I'm on exhibit, on display, always on display. Exactly what does being a legend pay? I need some W-2s for this life. In order to receive help from the state, you have to be working. My writing is my work. I can't have my son 24 hours a day and write and create new work. Question marks float on top of the head of the caseworker. I was going to beat the caseworker up. I was going to hit her with my books. I swear, I was ready to go to federal prison for like 5 years for assault, and the king would think I'm a revolutionary, and I would visit him and get with him. I was really ready to do it. What you do as a poet, instead of blowing up buildings and beating people up in the places where you go to jail for a long time, you just write poems about them in the parking lot and cry, and you get and this is the meditation, right? This is the important work, because the reason why nobody is hurt around me in those situations is because I have poetry to lean on so that I can get it the hell out, so you don't go crazy. When you got a black woman, not a white woman, a black woman, trying not to give me money for food. We hate each other. My boys can get welfare faster than me in Detroit because they can flirt with the caseworker. They got welfare, they don't even got no kids. They got bridge cards. Really? How you get a bridge card, man? You know, holler at the caseworker. That's real. This is madness, I tell myself. In order to see help from the state, you have to be working. My writing is my work. I can't have my son 24 hours a day and write and create new work. Question marks float on top of the head of the caseworker. Herbie Hancock plays in the background. This is the music I brought to this place. Never leave your music at home. Never leave your music at home. They only play the TV on one station in the lobby, the Sci-Fi Channel or something. Sometimes there are cookies full of M&M's. King, don't touch the cookies, baby. King, don't touch the cookies. I made up a job because my job wasn't a job. I made up a job because my job is not a job. And apparently told them I make too much money that doesn't really exist, so now I'll be allocated $12 a month for food. My first husband calls me by mistake in the middle of all of this. We laugh about reading poems for 20 years. Our son, my earth son, cracks jokes about him getting old. We are elders and we still young, says Kevin Powell. This is a thankless job. Weldon Irvine. Y'all know Weldon Irvine? Jazz people? Weldon Irvine co-wrote To Be Young, Gifted, and Black for Nina Simone. really important person in jazz history. This is a thankless job. Weldon Irvine would whisper in my ear at the Schomburg before he killed himself a few years later. Thankless, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you, thankless, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you, Joni Mitchell, to drown out this moment. Mariah Carey, Anita Baker, Jennifer Hudson, yeah, that Beyonce song, If I Were a Boy. Thank you, angels, past lovers, ex-husbands, rappers, DJs, producers, basketball players, guitar players, novelists, philosophers, painters, industry intellectuals that would never ever get it. All you deep mofos, thank you, Most Def, for telling me it was honorable to live my life, travel the world. When people ask me what I do, I simply say, I'm a poet. Thank you, Talib Kweli, for being a friend outside the music. Thank you, Roger Guinevere Smith, for Huey P. Newton and the head nod. To Ozzie Davis for that elbow on my arm and that smile. Thank you, Nas, for the prediction, because we never know the outcome. Thank you, Les Poets and Sonia and Haki and Baraka. Thank you, my Nana, for buying coats and uncles for shoes and daycare. More family. I have more family. I was born a more. I'm headed to LA for some shows. I got to stop crying and write this show. But this is not a show. This is my life, God. This is my life, my blessing, my gift. Got a gig in Cincinnati while I was writing this, my January rent. Thank you, Daddy. God, past lovers, present lover. Got your text, baby. I'm okay. Thankless, thankless, Thanksgiving, no. Thank you, said the abused turkeys, no. Thank you for your slaughter in the name of giving, in the name of family poems. This is what I have to give. I'm eating poems today. I'm thankful. I'm humiliated. I'm embarrassed. I'm surviving. I'm surviving. Odetta just died. Lucille Clifton just died. Jane Cortez just died. Gil Scott Heron just died. Mitty Baraka just died. Dick Gregory just died. You can't stop me, no. You can't stop me. This is my job, damn it. This is my job, you know. I'm a mother. Give me my check. I'm a mother. Give me my check. Amen, amen, amen. A woman, a poet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm hiding all the turkeys in my backyard this year. How all of y'all gonna give thanks? Somebody gotta die for you to be thankful. I miss you. Yale, Richard Pryor, Tom Moore, Marion McKeeba, Sekou Cindyada, Weldon Irvine, Joseph, Rosa Parks. You can't find them. You can't find me. You can't find them. You can't find me. We are busy writing. We're busy confusing your paperwork with real life. My lover says he talks to me in real life. The internet is an illusion, but people are addicted to illusions, though. Thankless, thankless world. Not me, 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 not me. Happy 50th anniversary, Baba Haki. I love y'all. Thank you, 19. Yes. All that energy. Thank you.
We really appreciate y'all letting us come here this evening. I mean, we really do. As a choir now, we are graduates of this school. Okay, it was, at least when I was here, it was Wilson Junior College. I don't know, you were still here, Wilson?
I came the first year, changed to Kennedy King.
Okay. And Third World Press, upon our 50th anniversary celebration, has asked this wonderful poet, whom one of my cultural daughters, to come and grace us this evening. Did she do a wonderful job? And I saw the whole show. I was outside eating a sandwich.
Okay.
And they got big, nice screens out there in the hall so everybody can see it. But what we wanted to do now, President and Dean, is present you all with a full library from Third World Press. This is a gift. And it will be a gift that will keep on giving, because what happens every time we publish a new book, you will receive it for the library. And this is the invoice. And this invoice comes to about, how much is it? Well, the price is not here, but it's a little bit over $3,000, I know that. And it's going to be more. Some of the books are out of print, but they're coming. But this is about close to a little bit over 100 books, okay? And we want to thank you all. Again, and we gotta support these two brothers. Community college in this city is very corrupt. I can say this. It changed presidents like Jessica changed clothes, all right? And she's always clean, because every day. All right,
I stay clean.
and so we got to support them. And it's not easy. This is not easy at all. But it's your job to be the best. We came through this college, and we were able to fight our way into, 4-year universities, and graduate school, and do well. She heads the Southside Community Arts Center, founded and powered by Margaret Burroughs, who also founded the DuSable Museum. This is also her centennial. I'm here in part because of because of Gwendolyn Brooks, who was my cultural mother for over 33 years, and we got 15 of her books in here that we published at Third World Press. And so, you young people, this is a start. We were here, and the president's correct. We didn't have the money. We couldn't pay that large university tuition, but this was our start and allowed us to go on to the next level. Do not take this for granted. Do not take it for granted. Get your brothers here, get your sisters here, get your mama back in school, get your grandma back in school. It's here for us. I found a Third World Press in Inglewood, 63rd and Ada, in a basement apartment that had $400 in a mimeograph machine. Now we own a half a block on the south side of Chicago. All right? You all will be my guests tomorrow. Come out tomorrow at 2 o'clock at 7823 South Ellis. That's our school, the Betty Shabazz Academy. We're going to have a all-day Black Arts Festival. And Sonia Sanchez will be there to help kick this thing off, along with Eugene Redmond. Right, where's Eugene at? Oh, right here, Gene Redmond. Oscar Touré, Kalama Yasalam. A whole lot of people. All right, and then of course Maggie Brown. All right, will be there with the music, and we will have food for y'all. So come on out tomorrow. At this time, we want to let you go out and get set so she can sign some
I want to
books.
shout out Cleveland in the house. I just know, come on now, can y'all
Oh,
please,
okay.
Cleveland, can you please stand up? I want to just acknowledge that you brought these students from Cleveland. Tell me the full name. Is it Cleveland? Is it Player? Is it Cleveland? Tell me the name of the group. 12 Literary Arts, y'all. They came from Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah. I got books for y'all. Yes.
Also, it's my wife back in the back, Dr. Carol D. Lee. All right. And this is for Brother Cleveland and Malcolm and these young brothers out here. The secret is marry women smarter than you. All right? And that's what I did. And so we're going to take a quick picture and let the president say goodbye.
And before we go,
Okay.
we have some presentations that need to be made.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, and this will be the last of it. And you want to step to the microphone and get that started. Thank you.
You've given us gifts. You've come bearing gifts of words and music and joy. Professor Desmond McFarlane, Chair for the Humanities and Fine Arts Department. And we're so grateful for what you have brought us and what you have gifted us. And we too want to give you gifts. So, as a small token of our gratitude, we give you something from the ceramics. Appreciation of our gratitude. Again.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Sante.
And
You say the last word. Say, give us the last word here. So just say, give us the last word so we can move on out. Okay.
our appreciation.
Oh, okay. Okay, why don't we take this picture right quick so we can go, she can go, she needs to get out of here before people leave. I want to sell some books,
I want
okay?
y'all to buy all my books. Okay.
This is, the important thing about all of this is that you can take the pictures while I'm talking. When my first book came out, Think Black, in 1966 and 67, I was standing on the corner of 63rd and Cottage Grove selling books for $1 a hit, all right? This young sister came up, like I followed Broadside Press and Dudley Randall. She came after Broadside Press, Dudley Randall, Lotus Press with Naomi Long Madgett, Sea Farm with Baraka and so forth, and Third World Press. So she's our new generation of poets and publishers as well as teachers. We got to support her, okay?